Welcome back to another episode of Poetic Therapy, where I'm your host, Poetic Peace, and today we will be discussing identity, what is yours now, and what should it be. We got tea brewing, we got a conversation brewing, so let's get into it. So, identity, obviously, whenever we hear the word identity, we think about who am I? Who are you? Who is this person? Right? When we say, what is your identity? We're asking, who are you? Or show me some ID, right? Identification. Who are you? Tell me who you are. Tell me where you're from. Tell me something about yourself, right? Tell me your characteristics. Tell me something I should know about you, right? This is what we mean when we say our identity. It's something about us. It's who we are, right? But who exactly are we? Identity is defined as your character or your characteristics, your personality traits that are unique to you, right? So, for example, you may identify as a kind person. That does not mean that you're the only person in the world who's kind. However, it does mean that when people look to identify you, they may describe you as the kind one, right? So your level of kindness may be more easily noticed than someone else's level of kindness or charity or uh, whatever it may be. Is your identity a doctor? Is your identity a lawyer? Is your identity an athlete? Is your identity a poet? Is your identity a writer? Is your identity blue collar worker, right? Is your identity white collar worker? What is your identity? Your identity is who you are, right? Are you a blue collar worker? Are you a poet? Are you a writer? Are you an athlete? Are you all of these things, right? Doctor, lawyer, nurse. Are you these things, right? And if you are those things, is that your identity? Or is that your occupation? Identity is defined as characteristics or personality traits that are unique to you. So, that could be kindness, that could be forgiving, right? Whatever it is, those characteristics, those personality traits are your actual identity. So if that's the case, why do you or me or whoever identify as the doctor, the lawyer, the poet, the writer, the athlete, the da-da-da? Why are you using titles for an occupation as your identity? So, hear me out. What I'm asking you is, if your sport is taken away, if your writing ability is taken away, if your physical capability of being a doctor is taken away, if your voice is taken away as a lawyer, or if you're no longer able to practice, right? If your ability to practice law is taken away, what's your identity? Who are you? If you identified as a doctor and you're no longer able to be a doctor, how do you now identify? Who are you now? Because that was your whole persona. That was your whole personality. You were a doctor. You walked like a doctor. You talked like a doctor. You behaved like a doctor, right? And that's all very professional. But we also have to remember that is not the end all be all, right? That is not actually your personality. It's actually the complete opposite, right? Your personality allows you to be the doctor. It allows you to be the lawyer. It allows you to be the athlete. It allows you to be the writer, right? It allows you to be the poet, the content creator, the whatever. Your personality allows for you to have the occupation that you have. Your identity, your true identity allows you to be who it is you want to be. For example, you are not a doctor because you're identifying as a doctor, right? It's not simply because you're behaving as a doctor. It is because you have the personality to become a doctor, right? You have the intellectual capability, but you also have you have the heart, right? You have the personality traits on the inside for it. So you're naturally a giving person. You're naturally a helping person, right? Like these are things that you want to do for other people. You naturally want to help other people. And so because you want to help fix a problem, right? And you have interest in fixing this particular set of problems for other people, this is the way you choose to help and serve other people, and that's part of your natural identity. It led you to become a doctor, right? So you got the occupation title of a doctor. However, your identity is not in being a doctor. Your identity is in being a helper, in being a caretaker, right? So you probably naturally have it in you to take care of someone. When you see someone sick, you naturally want to help. When you see someone hurting, you naturally want to help. Naturally, you are a caregiver. You prefer to take care of others. However, the way you chose to do that and make a living is through an occupation with the title of doctor. So you're not identified, do not identify as a doctor. Identify as a caregiver, right? That's who you are. So how do you know what your identity is, right? If you don't have an occupation. Because if you're watching this video, I appreciate you, but you may not have an occupation yet. You may not even know what you want your occupation to be. However, you would find a lot more happiness in your life if you find an occupation based on your personality and not try and contort your personality to fit your occupation. So if you're not naturally a caregiver, don't go into a field where you naturally have to be a caregiver, right? If you're it's just like sports. If you're not athletic, why would you try to be an athlete? Like if that's not naturally part of your build, your character build, then why are you pursuing something that does not fit who you are inside? Because that leads to you constantly being at war with the inside versus the outside. Because on the outside, you look like all the things, right? You look like the perfect athlete. You look like the perfect doctor. You look like the perfect lawyer. You look like the perfect writer, the perfect poet, perfect content creator. On the outside. But on the inside, if that's not who you actually are, if you're not actually that person, if you are fighting your personality traits to be that, you won't find the happiness you're looking for. You won't find the content that you're looking for, right? You'll always be dreading what it is that you do because it does not naturally fit your personality. Now, I'm not saying that it has to be a perfect fit, right? Everybody has parts of their occupation that they do not enjoy. However, they have people who are successful in their field of work have personality traits that allow them to do their job even when they don't want to, that allow them to enjoy their occupation even when they don't want to, like even when they don't want to do it in that moment, right? Naturally, their personality, their drive to help others in the way that they're helping other people is what allows them to continue to pursue for bigger and better opportunities in their occupation, rather than allowing their titles to identify who they actually are. If you like the video, don't forget to get your copy of the book Poetic Peace, the Heartfelt Edition. It's available on Barnes & Noble. It's available in the link in description, honestly. But Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever you get your books. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Also, use your voice. Don't forget to use your voice. Alright, let's get back to the video. So we know that our identity is definitely our personality qualities, our personality traits, our characteristics, right? It's not our occupation. We figured out how to find it, right? We can ask others, we can ask ourselves, we can make a list and say, hey, this is who I am. Like naturally, this is what I do. I'm an early bird. I always wake up at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Or hey, I am a night owl. Like I do my best work at night. I'm not really a morning person. I'm definitely an evening person. All of these different things are part of your personality trait, right? So now that we understand how to find them, how should we identify? How should we determine whether the things people are saying about us and the things we're saying about us are true, and what kind of things should we be saying about us? Well, the easiest way to determine which your actual identity is seeing what you do when no one else is around, right? So when nobody else is watching, when nobody else is looking, what are you doing, right? It's easy to get up and call yourself a morning person or early bird whenever you're getting up to, say, go to school, right? Because everybody has to get up and go to school at the same time in the mornings, right? So that doesn't necessarily make you an early bird. Doesn't make you a morning person just because you got up at that time to do a thing, right? Or even if you get up consistently at that time to do a thing, that does not make you a morning person, right? Naturally, in your personality, if you had a choice, if you could sleep in versus doing it, maybe like the difference between taking morning classes and night classes, which type of person are you? Would you prefer the night classes? Would you prefer the morning classes? What would you prefer if nobody was watching? If you were the only one that had to make the decision, if nobody else cared about the decision you made, that you had to make the best decision for you, what would that look like? That's your identity. That's who you are. When nobody else is around, whatever you do, that's who you truly are. That is your personality. That is your identity. If you are naturally a caregiver, when nobody else is around, you still gonna help. If you are naturally destructive when nobody else is around, you're gonna accidentally break something, right? Because naturally you're destructive, right? That's not always a bad thing. That's just who you are, and you have to learn how to use your qualities, your traits, your identity to be the best version of you possible. And the best version of you possible helps the world spin. It helps other people. It's your identity. So where are you going to get your identity from? Are you going to let somebody tell you what your identity is? Are you going to let somebody give you an identity? Right? And mind you, there's a difference between someone telling you what your identity is and someone helping you to discover what your identity is. Right? If they're helping you discover it, they're like, yeah, you usually do this, you usually do that, and that's what you do around them. So now if you go around your friend group, say you have 4 friends, and you go to each friend in your friend group and you go, hey, what are some of my characteristics? What are some of my quality traits? Like, why are we friends? Tough question, huh? Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna let it marinate. Tough question, huh? Why are we actually friends? Are we friends because we just saw each other at the same place enough times, and so you took a liking to me? Or what quality, what characteristic did I display that made you say, hey, I would like to call that person my buddy, my friend, my pal, my bestie? Whatever it is, what trait, what quality in their personality made you say, hey, I want that person in my life? It's part of your characteristics. That's part of your qualities. That's part of your identity. That is what people see when they look at you. They don't see doctor. They don't see lawyer. They don't see writer. They don't see poet. They see another person. I'm going to say it one more time. They don't see doctor. They don't see lawyer. They don't see writer. They don't see poet. They don't see athlete. They see person. Person. What type of person are you? That's your identity. That's your identity. What type of person are you? Who are you on the inside, not the out? And only you can determine that, because only you are around you 24/7. Only you know every lie that you've told you. Only you know every truth that you've told you. Only you know every time you snuck and did something you wasn't supposed to do. Only you know every time you were hurt by something that somebody said. Only you know these things about you. So with that being said, you know you the best. So trust you in knowing that who you are as a person. And then go find you an occupation to make a living, right? Go get you some money for identifying what you do well, who you truly are, and how you can truly help others. That's where you're going to make the most money at. That's where you're going to make your quote unquote easiest money at. Because you're doing what you do naturally. You're doing what naturally fits into your personality. So, in the comments, here's what I need you to do. I need you to comment at least one unique quality about yourself. Tell me something about you that you do well. You do really well. It's naturally who you are. Whether that be your natural caregiver, your natural listener, your natural problem solver. What do you naturally do that people come to you for? Because you do it well and you do it naturally. You do it without thought. You do it without thinking. Right? It's an innate part of who you are. It's almost like an instinct for you, right? Where you are naturally a giver. Hey, you don't have enough money? I have some. You don't have food? I have some. You don't have medicine? I have some, right? What is it about you that comes naturally? Drop one thing in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Till next time, peace.